Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a crazy day in the market. And September is definitely becoming the month of V-shaped recoveries and gap fills, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And so we'll get into all that of what happened, what caused it, and all that fun stuff. And, I'll ask you a personal question at the end of this video. If you don't answer, that's fine, but I'll share my experience and stuff because, don't forget, today is 9/11, right? And so I'll ask you at the end where you were at and stuff. Because of the day I don't want to forget, and I'll tell you why I don't want to forget it and see if you agree with that or not. Also, I'm going to show you something in this video. Nobody else is going to cover this stuff. I'll guarantee you nobody's going to talk about this, but something that happened today, I didn't even notice it to when I was starting to put this video together, but it's extremely important. I'll show you why it's really important to where this market could be going, not only the next couple weeks, but for the rest of the year. So it could be really significant, and I'll show you exactly why so you can visually see it on the chart, okay? And so, if I found these memes kind of funny, but if you look right here, when you look and thought the market was heading down, right? It's obviously stayed afloat. And I thought this meme was hilarious. Sellers in the morning, I know they had to be happy, like, woo, this is great. And then sellers probably about 11:30 right here. I'm pretty sure that's what they were feeling like, going, you got to be kidding me. Because again, the V-shaped recoveries are right in front of us. You can see them right here, just one day after the next. And it's a huge intraday moves, just enormous. And of course, what caused it? Well, guess what? CPI actually came in at 2.5, not 2.6, right? Even though core came in over what it's supposed to be because of shelter. Again, you look at what was norm before. Again, I know you guys are screaming and can put in the comments, this is ridiculous. I get it. Look, where the inflation is where everybody doesn't want it to be. It's where it hurts everybody. Okay, and that's why core went up to 3.3 because they can't get shelter down. It's going to be sticky. That core is going to be sticky, but here's what the market wanted, okay? At least they're telling us they want this. They want the 25 basis point cut, not the 50. The 50 sends a signal that they are too late. We're going into a recession, all that stuff that they've been in the past. A 25 just means that's a regular rating cut cycle. At least that's what the market is trying to tell you now. And I put these, levels in here yesterday for those who watched the videos. For those who didn't, I'll try to forgive you because it seemed like a lot of you didn't want to watch that video. But again, these levels right here, you can see we got the bounce off as soon as we had the sell off from CPI. Again, massive rundown. 1.72 on the SPY. Way bigger turn down in the Qs. It was just nuts, okay? And there was a big divergence between SPY and the QQQ. But of course, what happened? We go to regular trade now, you see it. There's the gap fill, right? And we keep filling gaps this month, right? And so big gap fill also going to a level of support. So of course, you got your big reversal, right? It's coming up. Again, you don't know how much this is going to go up when it starts to happen, but then we come back into this level, right? We hit this level and retest this level that we put in there yesterday. Then we come back and retest this level as well. And of course, where did I get that level from? Somebody asked me that, so I'll answer it. If you come over here, it was an inverse fair value gap. And you see that wick right there? That's why I picked it. It looks to the left. You see kind of where we hit support before? That's why I put it there, okay? And of course, we came up, retested, boom, bounced, ends up coming up, breaking prior day's high, and then it's like a rocket ship from there. Again, those other two levels up there got broken, retested, and then at the end of the day, man, they just pushed us up like crazy. It was like, you can see the clock down the bottom right here. Last 5 minutes of the day, this is what they did, and they sold it down and stopped it right there on that last level that I put in the day before. And again, just these levels are really easy to pick out, to be honest with you, so you can do it yourself. But again, what do we have here? This level, look at this. To the penny, they bounced it right there. Why? Because what we talk about, you cannot set a lower low, right? If they let it break down right there today, all this liquidity is going to come in here, and all of a sudden, a lot of selling pressure is going to come in. And they didn't want that today, okay? I'm going to pull this over just in case, but they didn't want that today. So again, kind of like a double bottom deal right there. And don't forget, guys, this is September, October. You see the price action, so there's no reason to be a hero and try to guess. Just look at levels and follow the price because we could easily sell off back down tomorrow. You see it. You see in what's happening, throughout these days and stuff and months. So, all we know is for certain this is going to be volatile, right? And everybody, thinks, oh, and there's a big sell off in the morning. That's it. Oh, we're not going back up, or there's a big move up. Can't possibly go back down. So, just set your levels, believe in your levels, and they eclipse the level. Great. And when you see a high risk reward scenario, go for it. But it bounced on support and just rocked it up. My goodness. That is just a straight up rocket ship. And so, we filled some fair value gaps. Obviously shorts were covering like crazy, I think, because this thing went to the moon. And so what are we looking at? Keep it simple. One, we're going to look to see if we can get past the rest of this daily fair value gap and close above that. That is a bullish thing, okay? And then you got the trend line, right? The ascending trend line that's support for a long time, then resistance. And then guess what? That's all-time highs, guys. I mean, the fact I'm talking about that in September blows my mind. 1.79%. I'm not saying we're getting there tomorrow or a week. We might just sell straight back down because this is September, October. But that is nuts to me to be sitting in this part of seasonality and be sitting that close to all-time highs. And the Qs, I'm actually going to add this trend line in here because, I mean, it's like 3-4 bounces now with this thing. So it's a smaller wedge. You can see they're trying to put us in. And what I really want to see is, does the Qs actually catch up? Because they're so far behind, okay? And why are they behind? Because the Mag 7 has been getting basically no love, right? But in semiconductors especially. But look at the day, 10% on ARM, MU 4%, SMC 7.84%, and look at freaking NVIDIA, 8%, okay? And when you have them going up 8%, and why, of course, was that, as I put in the Discord this morning around 9:30, because the call sweeps were rolling, baby. This is how Tesla and NVIDIA moved from now and in. And it was millions of them just rolling in. And of course, NVIDIA was ignoring what the market was doing, right? It's still going up. That's what you remember Tesla, how it ignores the market when it's going crazy. And then an hour later, what happened? They started rolling back into more call sweeps, as you can see right here. And this time it was even more. And usually it's going to be 9/20, 10/4 was your expiration dates on these. But it was just millions of them. Millions of them. And when you see a mega cap that big going up 8%, that is nuts. When's the last time you saw Microsoft or Apple going up 8%? I guarantee you remember the day, because it rarely ever happens. But there's NVIDIA, right? Defying gravity, taking off. Now you look at it, obviously, big green candle. More importantly, though, what did it get above? The 21 EMA. That's very important. I've showed you this many times of how bullish that is for this to get above that. It has to hold above it. I like a full candle above. I like a full candle close above it, because usually when you see that, you get continuation. And if we kind of get rid of this and just kind of scroll in the page, you'll see like right there, full candle close above, boom, go up that trend line, get rejected, right? And you kind of see some of the same stuff. It's been rejected right there, full candle close above. You tend to get continuation. So I'd like to see that. So we'll see if this is going to continue to flow in. Obviously, if you see the call sweeps coming in, you know what time it is. Okay, it'd be interesting. It'd be nice to see Tesla and NVIDIA actually move up at the same time and have, big days together, but it just doesn't seem to be what they want to do. Now, something very big right here is what you're looking at is the bulls are trying to take back charge. They're trying to get the RSI over 50 on this momentum, trying to get a bullish MACD cross. That's extremely important. When you go to the higher time frames, you can see on the weekly, again, this is what we talked about. Did they drop below the 50? No. And that's what you want to see on higher time frames. The bulls stay in charge, because if this drops below 50, as I've showed you, it's been a long time since this happened. But when it does, that means momentum is shifting down on higher time frames, which is extremely bearish. Okay, right now it's still in that triangle formation, which can break either way. Still wedging and all that fun stuff up in this shaded area, which these shaded areas continue to play out. So I'm just going to keep them in there. They've been in there for months, and so those are areas of resistance, support, all that fun stuff. So again, just watch, see if we end up closing a full candle close above the 21 EMA, and see if that daily RSI gets above that, or continues to get above the 50. That's crucial. Now, of course, SMH, again, this one right here, perfect bounce time. I think somebody in comments even said they were going heavy into this because of this. But, on the 200, sitting there on the volume profile, you see right there, that big volume node right there, and setting in a bounce zone, right? So you got a lot of confluence. So this one bounced. It's the largest holding it has, if I'm not mistaken, is NVIDIA by country mile. And it's in a volume gap. So you can see why this could go even farther up if they decide to continue to push this tomorrow. We do have, economic news, all this stuff. But remember, they don't really care about the news. They're just kind of looking at the news to move it where they want to move it, okay? And so something very important I'm going to talk about, which nobody else is going to talk about, but something that happened today, I'll guarantee you won't see this anywhere else. And it was what happened between the dollar and Japan, right? They've been fighting it. And you can see, I told you, if this breaks out, it is not good. But it got rejected for the second time. Okay, now you can see what I'm talking about. So there's multiple touch points. And you got to watch for this, because if it breaks above, I'll show you what I'm talking about, it is not good for stocks. If it gets rejected and starts heading down, and then you can start to see rallies. Okay, as shocking as that sounds, or at least the market trades sideways, right? But let me show you this right here. You see this right here? See it was rallying up like crazy? All right, after breaking out, I could draw a trend on there if you want to, and you can see it. But when I compare both of these, very important to pay attention to, look what happens. This thing goes sideways for over a year, and I mean, it didn't hardly do anything. Why? Because it's breaking out. And we did have some pullbacks in there, no doubt about that. And so we had a freaking, we go over to the next one, you'll see what I'm talking about. But then it sells down, and what happens? The market goes crazy, up 60%, right? In less than about a year and 9 months, which is a huge move up for an index, okay? Then what happens? All of a sudden it starts to break out again. Well, what happens? The market ends up having a almost 20% crash down. Then it comes back down, right? And the market goes crazy, as you can see right here. And we just rally all the way into the 2020 crash, which is just nuts. But I mean, this is the kind of stuff you got to be looking at on this. I'm telling you. And so you see right there where it came down real fast, and the market basically rallied, and then it went up again. And what happened? The market traded sideways. And so when you come over and you look at what happened after 2020, when this thing started just going down into a downtrend, and you didn't think the market could go up anymore, when it came to 2020, well, what was going on in 2020, right? The dollar was freaking strengthening like crazy, and the market started going up. All right, and it just kept going up and kept going up and kept going up until obviously you'll have these rallies coming into that trend line, and then the market turns down. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you. watch this right here. And it means I'll watch it for you and I'll report it for you. But the fact that it did reject is a good sign, and I'm just saying, if it breaks above that trend line, especially if it breaks above the trend line, bounces, and then continues higher, that's trouble for the market. That's just the way it is. You can see it in the past so many different times. Okay, and so, but if it doesn't, and this thing starts heading down south, don't be surprised if you see the S&P go to all-time highs. That's just the truth. Okay, so I'm just showing it. You can see it right there, plain as day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, you can see right here, we do have some tomorrow. Big Lots, which filed bankruptcy. Kroger's another one. Then you'll have Adobe and RH in the afternoon. So nothing's going to break. I mean, the market's not even going to really notice any of those earnings, by the way, but I'm just showing them to you in case you hold the stocks. Now, you do have core PPI month over month, PPI month over month, unemployment claims coming out in the morning. 30-year bond auction should do nothing, by the way. So it's all in the morning, and we'll see whether they want to push this overnight and everything. But I was going to ask you guys, where were you on 9/11? Do you happen to remember? Because, I'm a firm believer in never forgetting this. I actually think about it, and I listen to this clip of when this happened like every single year, because I don't want to forget. And the reason why I don't want to forget is because that's the last time I can remember us as a country uniting and being behind each other and talking, and it didn't matter what party you were with or who you were rooting for and this and the other. We were a country. It's the last time I really felt like we were really unified as a country. And I remember I was coming from a steel mill. I worked a graveyard shift job from 9 to 7 in the morning, and I go to University of Alabama and go to school from 8 to like 2 in the afternoon. And so I was driving over when the first plane hit and listened to it on the radio. But I got to the parking lot. I'm listening to this thing, and it was so early in the morning, and I'm exhausted from being up all night. I thought it was a skit. I thought, what a weird skit to be running, because I was thinking of War of the Worlds. They ran in the 60s. Remember, people really thought aliens were invading the world, right? They thought it was invading the Earth. So I thought it was something like that. I thought, that's just very strange. Until I got inside the building, and everybody's glued to the TV, and then you can see it. And I'll never forget, my stupid accountant teacher was like, oh yeah, we're still going to hold class. Really? It's like, come on, dude. I ended up walking right out of that class. Like, you're an idiot. And so I went home, and I remember I was exhausted from being up all night, but I had to work that next night. And so I was just glued to the TV all day with me and my cousin. I never forget my cousin, because he got arrested that morning. So he was in jail when it happened. And so his dad had to bail him out and bring him home. That was an interesting day all the way around. But, that's why. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I don't want to forget about it. I don't know how long it took people to stop thinking about Pearl Harbor. And I think just because it is the last time I remember the country being like super united. I mean, people you would think, don't talk to each other, don't get along, everybody uniting. So, let me know in the comments, where were you? I asked the members this, and they told me and stuff. And I think it's kind of hard to forget where you were, right? So, sad, tragic day, but it did, unify the country, even if it was just for, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months, a year, whatever it was. But, that was insane, because I remember saying too to somebody, one of my classmates, a couple months before that, I said, we've never experienced a Pearl Harbor moment in this country, right? Because I think, I'm not mistaken, I thought either the movie Pearl Harbor or something came out. That's what sparked that conversation. But I do remember it. So, always prayers go out to those families. It's a tragic day for them. I know it was horrible. One of the most, craziest things I've ever seen. Obviously, probably will be the craziest thing. Hopefully, the craziest thing I ever see as an American. So, anyway, appreciate all you guys. Please hit the like, subscribe button on the way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.